sebagai tempat perhentian dan bilangan burung itu sekitar 20,000 hingga 30,000 ekor burung. Okey, kata news, punca yang kemungkinan besar daripada aksiden ini ialah bird strike. Daripada video itulah kita dapat tengok burung tu hit dekat enjin belah kanan pesawat dalam keadaan approach untuk mendarat. Tak pasti tu seekor ataupun banyak, dan daripada pandangan video kita boleh lihat ada flap diturunkan. Dalam konsep ini pelbagai aspek teknikal perlu difahami termasuk sistem hidrolik dan risiko yang berkaitan. Kalau tengok video satu lagi, pesawat tu kelihatan approach landasan agak laju dan nampak gaya macam pesawat masih ada lagi hidrolik sistem tu untuk mengawal flight control. Setiap aircraft mempunyai redundancy dalam hidrolik sistem. Redundancy ni atau redundancy dalam erti mudah bermaksud menyediakan sistem tambahan atau komponen tambahan sebagai support. Kalau jika satu sistem gagal, jadi satu sistem boleh ambil alih dan menyandikan tempat untuk memastikan keselamatan pesawat supaya boleh terbang dengan lancar. Maksudnya ada backup plan lah. Untuk aircraft design configuration, kapal yang digunakan ialah Boeing
手をつなぎま
燃えろ。みんながそばにいて。
死での旅路へ退路はない。
主の魂を我が輩に捧げよう。あ？返事もろくにできねえのか？まだ永遠に黙らせてやる。
オッケー。
響け格のね。
全部丸見えね。これこそが知恵の伝道。
せい。よし。
はびこりなさい。
せい。
へっ。
じゃあ行くよ。さあ。覚えたわよ。
全力攻撃。
どよめく進学か
痛くしちゃうか。
獲物だ。
清流降臨。
手をつなぎましょう。
魂を我が輩に捧げよう。
あ？
返事もろくにできねえのか？まだ
知識に
黙らせてやる。
オッケー。
退路はない。
Honda ini akan hantar semula emergency signal kepada ATC dan information deteksi, altitude dan lain-lain info di mana ATC boleh trafik aircraft dan utamakan aircraft itu untuk membuat emergency landing supaya pesawat itu ada ruang untuk mendarat dengan selamat. Daripada video berkemungkinan ada kipas
Hello again. It seems like tapes and CDs are making a resurgence for some reason. The vintage tech from when I was a kid seems to be popular with the Gen Alphas, I guess. Damn right. Today I've got these It's Real and some other ones that do other dead formats, and we're going to have a look at them. They seem to be Bluetooth speakers, and they hold the secrets to the vintage analog technology. And to help me investigate this old dead technology, I've got LMG's own youngin', Mark.
Hey, you might remember me from the time that I copied Linus's
まだ終わってない誕生依頼
that one
あ
time.
と何
First,
件あ
let's
っ
take
た
a
っ
look
け
at this It's Real Bluetooth
Hito-
thing. If you want to get rid of those, we'll have a look at this. Mark, what do you think about the resurgence of tape in this modern era?
I'm for it.
Yeah.
Preserving this kind of stuff is important. There's a lot of stuff on tapes. What is this?
I don't know. Oh my god, it's not real. Oh,
これは必要か？
the base isn't clear. I wanted to get back to the 90s so clear everything. Look at this. Just kind of a flip up top there. So apparently this little thing is the Bluetooth 5.0 transmitter. I can see it's got a little battery cell on there. God, I love it. Clear plastic. If only we made a clear screwdriver, that would be pretty cool. Looks like it's got a USB-C thing in here. There's an on switch. Does it have any LEDs? It does. Look at that. I guess that's for pairing. That's cool. This thing is also all clear. Yeah, this looks like a tape deck. Nice hard clicky buttons. That's cool. Too hard?
No, that's about right.
Okay.
It's a single head. There's no recording.
Okay, well that's understandable, I guess. Why is the Bluetooth module missing? Do you want it to do that?
I feel like it could be in here. Does that just mean this is a Bluetooth speaker?
Yes.
So, but you can't connect a tape to a Bluetooth speaker.
Maybe this is Bluetooth in, and this one does Bluetooth out. That's my hope. We'll find out.
It's better built than I expected.
Me too. It doesn't feel very cheap. It's mostly made plastic. It's all nice and sturdy. It looks like it's kind of the traditional layout of an actual tape deck. You know, we have the big old original motors. It's got basically everything that looks like every tape deck I've seen. So I'm just going to form factor seems pretty good. It's got batteries. This is pretty vintage.
So it has to be plugged in if you want to use it.
We need to put batteries.
How much life do you think the batteries give you? That's 4 AA's.
4 AA's tape deck. I don't know. It's just running a small motor. Maybe a good day or 3.
For I/O, you got USB Type-C and just your 3.5 mil audio out. And because it doesn't have record, I'm assuming this is just an audio out. It's got a little volume control and an on-off switch. Battery charging. Alright, so apparently you can charge your batteries with this thing,
That's kind of nice.
but don't put like alkalines in this because
Might explode.
It might explode or corrode.
Damage them at least, or maybe the machine.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I mean, I like more stuff should have this.
Yeah, it's dangerous and confusing to include though, because now you gotta
Yeah.
make sure that they're charging properly. But that's really nice.
Yeah.
I've not seen that before. Instead of just putting one of these lithium packs in there, you can actually just use rechargeables. And I know we gotta use a bunch here anyway, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
Oh, and just to clarify, that's only if you plug it in with an alkaline in it.
And set it-
Alkalines
and set
will
it to
work.
charging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're romantic enough.
What? Go in the backside?
Maybe after this word from our sponsor.
Thanks to Lexar for sponsoring this video. Their professional workflow dock is designed with media creation in mind, with 6 modular memory bays for speed and versatility. Its 2 Thunderbolt 4 bays reach transfer speeds of up to 40 gigabits per second, supports 8K monitor support, and you even get a 140-watt GAN charger with a replaceable plug. set off the entire Lexar workflow series of products using the link in the description today.
These are elements, so let's not plug it into USB.
Some tapes and, do you think there's any reason why we should tapes
あらゆるものにはそれぞれ
analog? Are they digital? Are they comparable?
There's no real benefit to them. I mean, not
使い道がある。
いい加減その貧乏くさいところを直せ
Jesus Christ. Me hard and soft.
するの
Oh yeah, so this one's actually available on
思ったより素早いじゃねえか
Nice fast rewind. I don't know. I think tape is cool. I think having this back is nice. I've always kind of liked tape.
いいもの
It's
ず
been a dream of mine for a long time to get an actual big reel-to-reel machine, which is just so extra. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, what do you think, Mark?
The speakers aren't bad. There's
No.
quite a bit of dynamic range
Yeah.
for what it is. And, you know, like if you do want something a little bit nicer, like studio monitors, which you won't really get
家
that.
族うちにもちょうだい
consumer
冗談だってば
Tape, right?
あんたが持ってていいよ
I like that.
Oh, and it gives you that.
It's got that crunch because it's going to be playing the Bluetooth through the
Yeah.
the tape, which is cool. So you can kind of get the tapey thing.
The effect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm into it.
If you need a Bluetooth speaker and you're into tapes, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty loud. Okay, well, it doesn't rewind the song, which is sad, and tapes are fake, which is fine.
But it fast forwards it.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it sounds like a pretty cheap Bluetooth speaker, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know if that's because it's coming through the heads, but there's no mic system. That's not, crappy bedroom speakers kind of thing.
Make everything sound like garbage.
Yeah.
I got this here.
Oh my gosh, what do you have?
This is from my Japanese class when I was in elementary school.
Okay.
全部丸見えね
くらえ響け格のね
Which means you can plug it into normal things, and I'm sure it would be fine. I mean, it looks like a little tape deck, so I'm sure it'll be okay. I think for $150, this is probably
山分けでいいな。
It's not super huge like a giant normal tape deck. It's about the size of a tape.
こんな
This
ガラ
would
ク
be
タが
an amazing
欲
gift.
しいのか
Yeah.
I don't think anybody who has a large collection of tapes or just wanting to get into tapes would be unhappy with this as a gift.
No, like if you got a Gen A kid,
Yeah.
and he's like, I like tapes, they're cool. This would probably be awesome. Maybe a good pair of speakers or something else would be awesome too. The Bluetooth module is kind of a little bit. It just turns it into a Bluetooth speaker, and it looks cool.
It's a little gimmicky.
It's a little gimmicky, but I think that's still pretty neat, especially because it's got the reel-to-reels on there. Now, we do have another one, which is for CDs.
Dan, it's been such a long time since I listened to a CD. Also, this is like so disappointing. They could have called it Long Time No CD. Such a missed out. No!
So unlike tape, I think CDs are kind of a dumb thing to collect because they're basically individual. There's no like moving bits and bobs, and even though they're
全部丸見えね私のお家にいらし
みんながそばにいてくれれば傷なんて痛
CDs. Vinyl is basically like black magic, and tape is a little bit more easy to understand. I can't see the appeal of CDs, although I can see the appeal of this being clear. That's sick.
Yeah.
Look at that. That looks really nice. Micro B. They got rid of all the goodwill.
There's also an audio and it looks like on-off for battery.
Okay.
Wi-Fi?
Could be. Maybe this one's Bluetooth as well.
Oh, we also have some more buttons over here. So you got your typical play, pause,
権限汝の魂を我が輩に捧げよう。あ返事もろくにできねえぞ。
山分けでいいな。
永遠に黙らせてやる。
燃えろ
You could slap this on the top where the speaker would go and it would protect the CD, which is kind of neat. And then can this go on the bottom as well? Yes, but not really. Doesn't like going that way. Now, do we have any CDs?
Oh, yeah.
We've got all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
Prozac.
We've got some more cartoons. Creed. Oh, that's that one Radiohead song.
Yeah.
Woke.
Oh, this is relevant.
Yeah. Aqua, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And can we even show this? I mean, editor, I think you're gonna have to probably like blur that. Sorry.
Why?
Because it says naked. All right, I want to listen to Prozac.
星と
So
深
we're
淵を
putting
目指せ
alkaline batteries in this. They're claiming about
無事
6 to
今日の
8 hours of battery life with Bluetooth on,
星と深
but maybe don't do that if you like the environment at all. 'Cause that's a lot of batteries.
Simon, this is Milo. I'm Milo. Well,
Hi, Simon.
twas so long ago.
That's great. That's good. The speakers aren't very good though, unfortunately. It does have Bluetooth, but I guess we'd go to Bluetooth speakers. This one doesn't have
I
Bluetooth
see, I
input,
see.
which I guess is super reasonable, because why would you want that?
Compare this to the other one?
Can I see-
I'm Simon. This is Milo.
Oh my god, it does work. So now we're playing the CD player to the tape player. I hate this. I don't know, that's kind of cool actually. So there we go.
That's cool.
This is now the worst vintage piece of
見切りました。
フォークを叩い
くらえみんなは俺が
はっ料理の時間だよ
燃えろ
ひゅっ
はっ
せえ
光り輝くがいい
燃えろ
裁きの雷。
じゃじゃーん熱々でしょ
みんながそばにいてくれるわ
ここより弱滅の時。ひゅっはっはっせい悪を切らぬ。
世界を熱狂の渦にふっほっ
全力攻撃だ
話が通じないなら
無我の境地。はっせいしっ
you know, whatever. Same sort of thing as the other one. Throw the tape in here, and it goes, and then it plays the tape. I like this one. This one's kind of nice because you can take it to school and be either laughed out of existence, or everybody would think you're hip and neat. So let's have a look here. So this little CD player guy, which is pretty nice. Again, I really like the form factor of all of these. Again, perfect gift, perfect type of just a really nice entryway into something. CD player is about $118, and this one's about $102. Again, even though they're like plastic completely, the build quality feels surprisingly good. Like they're really quite sturdy.
I've been using the Elgato prompter for about a year now. I did a video when this first came out, but at the time, I, along with like pretty much everybody that did a video in this, had no real experience with using a teleprompter, and so nobody really knew how a teleprompter was going to fit into their workflow. Plus, most of the videos are just glazing the thing because it was a new toy at the time, and they probably got it for free from Elgato. I'm talking about me. That's me. But I've been using the Elgato prompter for every single video that I've made since I got it, and I think it's safe to say that this thing
逃げ道はありません。
フォークを叩い
せえ
グオパーよ
鎖を
歌え僕の名のもとに
みんながそばにいてくれるわ気づく
はっ料理の時間だよ
裁き登録。
お披露目だ
くらえ
稲光すなわち永遠なり。せいせい逃げ道はありません。
世界を熱狂の渦に
みんなは俺が守れ。もう
師匠の技を食らいなさい。無我の境地。
So the way this teleprompter works is it just works like a second monitor. You connect it to your PC via USB, and then your PC instantly recognizes it as a second display. And you don't need any power. It's just powered through USB only. And so because it's just a second display, you can put literally anything you want here. Something that I found really useful for me is I actually project my camera onto the teleprompter, so that way I can still see myself while maintaining eye contact with the camera as I record. A teleprompter is basically a one-way mirror. You can probably see my hand behind the screen here. So that allows me to check if I'm still sitting in frame, check if everything's in focus, but to you guys, it still looks like I'm looking into the camera because I literally am looking into the camera. You can do that really easily in OBS by just right-clicking.
裁きのイカ。僕を叩く。
くらえ。
熱々でしょ。光り輝くがいい。
全力攻撃だ。せい。
やっ。逃げ道はありません。
くらえ。
稲光、すなわち永遠なり。やってせ世界を熱狂の渦にお披露目だ。
燃えろ。
は
みんなは俺が守る。
師匠の技を食らいなさい。無我の境地。
Sometimes I record YouTube shorts in OBS and I'm looking into the prompter and there are parts that are going to be cut off when I turn it into vertical format and I can't see where those parts are. So I made some PNG files and threw that into OBS that show me only the area that's going to be included in the edit. It also shows me where all the buttons and the overlays are going to be, so when I hold stuff up to the camera, I can make sure that it's not going to be hidden by those buttons. So just being able to see myself while I'm recording is already a huge advantage of the prompter. Okay, cool. You can see yourself in the camera. That's awesome. What else can it do? I want to show you guys what my actual recording setup looks like, but before that, it's important that you guys understand how my YouTube videos are recorded because the way that I do them, I think is a little bit unconventional. I'm fairly certain the way most YouTubers do it is they record directly onto the SD card of their camera or directly into OBS as one giant take with all of the mistakes left in, and then later on they edit out all those mistakes in post. That ain't the way that I do things at all. My main camera is the Sony ZV-E10, which I have hooked into my computer with a capture card so I can see it in OBS. And instead of doing one giant recording, I sit there with my script in front of me and I hit the recording button in OBS, read out 2 or 3 sentences, and then I hit the stop recording button. If the clip was good, cool, I keep it. But if the clip was bad and I made a mistake, then I delete that whole segment and re-record it again. So after the recording session, instead of having to edit out all my mistakes and sit there cringing myself because I can't get through one paragraph without stuttering and stammering, I just end up with 40 to 50 good takes that I know are gonna make the edit. Now, one of the things I hate about my workflow is I hate having to look over at OBS, hit the start recording button, check to see if OBS is recording, and then look up at the camera. Wouldn't it be so nice if I could just look into the prompter and the prompter tells me that OBS is recording? So I built a widget which simply draws a red outline around the prompter to signify that OBS is recording. So I just have a Stream Deck next to me and I hit the recording button on the Stream Deck and I don't have to look over at OBS anymore. If I can see the red ring around the prompter, I know for sure that it's recording. Not gonna lie, I was pretty proud of this idea, but I thought, why stop there? Why don't we just add more information to the prompter?
Like, how many times have you hit the recording button in OBS and then you stop the recording only to realize your mic was muted the whole time? So for the widget, I added a little audio meter so I can see in the prompter that my microphone is working. Again, I don't have to go to OBS to check if it's recording. I can see it when I look in the prompter. I also added stats like my drop frames. I added a little indicator to show how long I've been recording for, how big that recording is, and also if I'm streaming, there's an indicator that says I'm streaming. And the best thing is you technically don't even need a prompter to use this widget because it's just a browser source that you add into OBS. I'm going to be working with Elgato to get this widget onto the Elgato marketplace for you guys to download, but for right now, you guys can just go to the description and I've literally just put the widget up there with instructions for how to set it up. But yeah, this has been massive for me. Not having to look over at OBS every time I hit the recording button has been a real game changer for when I record YouTube videos. So what about reading my scripts? The main reason why you get a teleprompter is so you could see your script without looking away from the camera. The prompter uses the Camera Hub software, and in the software is a dedicated section for adding your scripts. Of course, if you've watched any other video on the Elgato prompter, you've already seen it. But you can change things like the size of your text, the opacity, how big it appears on the prompter, how fast it scrolls down the page. There's even a dedicated section just for reading Twitch chat. Unfortunately, still no YouTube support, but that's more YouTube's fault than Elgato. One of the features they added a few months ago is AI voice sync, so now the prompter just scrolls through the text automatically. It can detect as you're speaking into the mic, it knows exactly where you're up to in the script, and even if you skip ahead or skip back, the scroll will like, I don't know how it does, it just uses magic, but it knows where you are in the script. You do need an RTX graphics card to use that feature, and my PC only has a 1080 Ti, so I haven't been able to try it yet. But what I've done is Elgato just recently sent me one of their $900 Stream Deck Studios. Yes, $900 is ridiculous for a Stream Deck. I'm not saying that you guys should go out and buy this, but the Stream Deck Studio is scroll through my text, and because the Stream Deck is underneath my desk, it's discreet. So you can barely tell that I'm scrolling it when I'm just sitting here and looking at the camera. Like you can't even see that I'm scrolling it. Here, you can see a better look. You can see this is my script, and then I can turn the dial. You see how it scrolls through the text just like that? I also set up this button here as a record button, so I don't have to use my mouse to scroll over to OBS and hit the record button. I can discreetly just put my hand underneath my desk, hit that record button, and then it just starts recording. But here's where it gets really cool. I'm gonna switch over to my phone camera so you can get a better look at this. So this is my point of view whenever I'm recording a YouTube video. So I have the Elgato prompter here, and underneath my desk I have the Stream Deck Studio. So what I would do is I would hit the recording button, and I see the red ring in the prompter, so I know that it's recording, and then I could go and say my line. Yeah, guys, isn't anyone really bad? And then I reach underneath my desk, hit the stop recording button. That recording ring will go away, and then let's just say I wanted to open up the file that I just recorded. Rather than having to reach over with my mouse and double click in this file here, what I do is I just reach under my desk, and I have 3 buttons, and one of them says delete, another one says keep, and the other one says open. If I click open, it will open up the file that I just recorded. I see the red ring in the prompter, so I know it's recording. And I can check if the recording is good, and then I can close that. And if I want to delete that file, I can reach under my desk and hit the delete button. So watch, if I hit delete on the Stream Deck, it automatically goes away. But if I want to record a good take, hey guys, this is like a good take, yeah? And I hit the stop recording button there. And then let's just say I know that that was a good take. I can check it again, so we'll hit the open button. Hey guys, this is like a good take, yeah? Okay, so if I know that's a good take, then I can reach over and hit this button that says keep. And notice, see this file here, when I press keep, it gets sucked up into this folder. So these are all of my good takes. So you can see I don't need to move my mouse at all when I record YouTube videos, and all of my controls are just underneath my desk. I can change scenes, I can start the recording, I can like move the files around, and it's all just happening underneath the desk. Again, do you need a $900 Stream Deck to do this? No. Do you even need an Elgato prompter? No. You could use a second monitor for this, but I think it's cool. So that's why I wanted to show it to you today. Anyway, if you're interested in the Elgato prompter, I have links with a 5% discount code in the description, so check that out. If you guys also think the Elgato prompter is cool, then leave a comment saying, I think the Elgato prompter is cool. Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. I will. Yep. Okay. See ya. OBS plugins are a really great way to blah blah blah. You know why you clicked this video, okay? You can do cool stuff with OBS, you get it. There were some really good ones that came out this year, some that you may have missed out on, such as this first one, Encoder Region of Interest Editor. What in the f does that mean? You ever notice in your stream that when you're just sitting in the main menu of your game, your camera looks perfect, but the instant that you actually start your game, your camera becomes a blurry mess. Oftentimes when your stream has a lot of movement, OBS can struggle to keep everything clear, especially if there's a lot of things like grass or snow or effects going off in the screen, and so you're gonna get a lot of compression artifacts, and one of the first things to go bad is usually your camera. Well, this plugin allows you to define certain regions of the screen to have higher priority than the rest of the screen, and so you're gonna be able to make your camera stay clear at the expense of a little bit of quality everywhere else. So essentially, you're able to sacrifice the quality of your gameplay just a little bit in order to make your camera look better for your audience. It works really well for games with small text, so if you find that the kill feed in your game is really blurry a lot of the time and you can't read the numbers, you can create a small region just around that text to make sure that it's always readable. If you play a lot of FPS games, you can even set it up so that the center of the screen, you know, like where all the action is, you can make that the most clear, and then don't worry so much about what's happening on the periphery. I made a whole video on this plugin. I'll leave it linked up here or up over there. Do my eyes look like mega swollen in this camera? So I got like allergies. I look like the monk-esque guy. Stop being cringe and paying full price for Windows with their sponsor VIP SD keys. You can get a Windows 11 license for as low as $21. Just use my code NUTTY at checkout to get them for 30% off. And if you want to get them for a little bit cheaper, you can get a Windows 10 key for $15, and those can be updated to Windows 11 completely for free. You can pay using a secure payment method like PayPal. They'll send you an activation code immediately, and then you can put that in your Windows settings, and you're good to go. Check out VIP SD keys in the link down below. Any of you guys ever added so much to your stream that your OBS is like on the brink of imploding? You're dropping frames, your stream is stuttering, and you're not exactly sure why? Well, there is a plugin that's kind of like a resource monitor for OBS that tells you which sources and which filters are the most taxing in your PC so that you can get rid of them or change settings. If you use a lot of things like blur filters or high resolution video files, those can really add up and make you drop frames in your stream. The plugin is called Source Profiler. I'll be honest, that's a pretty terrible name. I don't know what's with developers. You guys are so smart, but you guys suck at coming up with names for plugins. I wish it was called something like OBS Resource Monitor or OBS Task Manager, because if you Google OBS Source Profiler, you're not even going to find it. The plugin is currently in alpha, and you must be using the latest version of OBS to use the plugin. The latest version of OBS just came out. It's OBS version 31. But once you install it, you'll find the Source Profiler in the menu under Tools in OBS, and you can filter by scenes, by sources, filters. OBS. The thing you should pay the most attention to is the GPU usage. So take a look at which sources are taking the most GPU, and if there's anything you don't really need, you can either remove it or replace it with something else. So for example, if you have a 4K video file that's playing in OBS, maybe you can consider replacing that with a lower resolution 720p version to save on some resources. If you use some other OBS plugins, such as the composite blur plugin, which we talked about in another video, some of those plugins can use a lot of your GPU. So if you find that filter in this list here, you can go into that source, turn down the settings so you can still use the filter, but do it in a way that's not going to destroy your stream. I'd recommend having the stats menu in OBS open while you do this. Your goal is to reduce your average time to render. Mine used to be about 15 milliseconds, and since I stream at 60 FPS, anything over 16 milliseconds, I'm going to start dropping frames, and that's horrible that mine was that high. But you can see that right now mine sits at around 6 milliseconds, so I was able to significantly reduce the yeah, I'm gonna keep this in there. You know what I'm talking about. It's really useful, okay? You get the point. Just keep in mind, it is still an alpha, so it may be buggy. I wouldn't recommend using this plugin while you're streaming, so just do some tests off stream, and then once you're happy with your performance, then you can go live. Multi-streaming has gotten really popular this year. Twitch announced last year that they're gonna be walking back their TOS to allow you to stream to other platforms like YouTube and TikTok, while at the same time still streaming on Twitch. And with that, a new plugin from Atom came out called Atom Multistream. I've personally been using this plugin basically all year. I even upgraded my internet from 20 megabits per second to a whopping 40 megabits per second. I live in Australia, and that's like the best I can do. We have poverty internet here. There have been other multi-streaming plugins as well as services like Restream.io, but I've been really impressed with Atom Multistream because it uses your own network, so you don't have to pay a single thing. It's gonna be free. It's gonna be free forever, and if you set it up right, it's not even that hard to run on your PC. You can stream to Twitch and YouTube using a single stream, so that it's not any harder on your PC to encode. You just need to have the extra bandwidth to use it. You can even send different audio tracks to different platforms. So YouTube is really strict with copyright, so I've set up my stream such that none of the music that I play in my stream ever goes to YouTube, it only goes to Twitch. It also integrates with their other plugin, Atom Vertical, so you can stream in both a horizontal and a vertical format at the same time. I made a bunch of videos on Atom Multistream this year. I think I'll link one of them in the corner again. It's really good. So far, this is my favorite way to multi-stream. I will say though, a year from now, I might have a different answer for you. Stream Elements is cooking up their own multi-streaming plugin, and let's just say they're doing some things that none of the other multi-streaming plugins are doing. I'll have a video of that very soon, so if you're not subscribed, you should totally do that. Does that work? I hate people asking to subscribe. It sounds desperate, and I don't even know if you guys do it. So, yeah, anyway, just do whatever you want, okay? Next is something I had no idea I ever needed, but now I cannot live without it. Well, I mean, I could physically live without it, but you, like... Okay, you ever added a source into OBS, but you can't remember what scene it's in? Or maybe you needed to change settings in your camera, but then your camera is like buried in a bunch of nested scenes, so it's really hard to find. The OBS Quick Access utility adds a search dock into OBS, so you can just type in the source that you want from anywhere in OBS. You can search for sources, filters, scenes, even files, and you can access the properties of those filters without ever having to manually search through your scenes. It's kind of like Spotlight for Mac. You can even set a hotkey for it so it doesn't waste any screen real estate, but you can also add a dock that's always present if you want that instead. So anytime you need to look for something, you hit your hotkey, type in what you're looking for, and then it's just that easy. Also, you know how the scenes dock in OBS doesn't allow you to group scenes? Well, one of the really neat things about this plugin is you can create your own custom docks that only contain the scenes that you want. And so effectively, you can group scenes into multiple custom docks and then arrange those docks as tabs. I have over 100 scenes in my OBS setup, but I only ever use like 15 of them while I'm actually streaming. So I made a custom dock that only contains the scenes that I use while I'm streaming, and I have a second dock that I use while I'm sitting at my second PC. So I don't have to have like a massive list of all of these scenes that I'm never actually going to use. I'm only going to see the ones that I'll actually be switching to. Again, I made a whole video about this one. You can click it up here. It did pretty terribly on the analytics, so could you like watch it anyway? Even if you're not going to use it, just click on it. Speaking of docking, is anyone here noticing how bloated OBS is getting? There's like 20 billion docks in OBS now, especially if you use a lot of the plugins that are in this video, and trying to arrange all those docks on the screen is super cringe. I actually made a whole concept redesign of OBS that went off on Twitter. A lot of you really liked my MS Paint work. Basically, the idea of the redesign is that we should be able to make our own custom layouts in OBS and then freely switch between them whenever we want. So imagine if we have a layout that's customized for streaming, a layout optimized for editing our scene layouts, a layout that only contains our various different dashboards for Twitch and YouTube. Well, right after I posted my concept redesign, someone released a plugin called JR Docky that does pretty much exactly that. You can arrange your docks in whatever layout you want and then save them, and if you want to switch between them, you just go into the JR Docky menu and select a different layout. It's even possible to map your different layouts to buttons on your Stream Deck, so you can swap between your layouts at a single press of a button. This has been absolutely game-changing for my workflow, because between ATEM multi-stream and the quick access utility, I have so many docks that I use every single day, and even with my ridiculous quad 32-inch monitor layout, it is impossible for me to fit everything I need on one screen. So with this plugin, I just have a few different layouts I use depending on what I'm trying to focus on, and I can just switch between them whenever I want. Absolutely must-have plugin for anyone, literally anyone. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're like a priest or whatever, or like a mechanic. Just everyone.